Welcome to Learn Short and Typing with VIKAS Sir, exercise number 12 and 13. Start. Often the states make complaints against central government for not paying attention towards their financial needs and for not providing them the required financial resources, and as a result of which development projects remain incomplete. Basically, it is the governments of states which are responsible for making developments in their states, and in order to fulfill this obligation, they need money. States have been presenting their case before Finance Commission, and the financial resources are distributed accordingly, and this thing is clearly mentioned in the constitution also. But we see that whenever some state governments become unable to generate required financial resources to fulfill the requirements of development works and also to function according to the aspirations of people of that particular state, then such state governments blame the center for not providing them required funds. I would like to submit to the Honorable Minister for Home Affairs that the present Finance Commission shall devise a formula as to how the states could be provided their maximum share in the financial resources. A serious thought is required to be given to it, and the formula so evolved many undergo minor changes, but major changes in it create imbalance, and generally some people try to shrink their responsibility on this pretext. Some days ago, some suggestions were given to the Honorable Prime Minister by the Chief Ministers of some states. When they called on Honorable Prime Minister, they talked on different subjects. They did not have any concrete proposals with regard to their recommendations. Even then, the Honorable Prime Minister assured them to forward it to the Finance Commission and advised them to contact directly to the Commission. But when they came out after meeting the Prime Minister, what they told to the press was totally contrary to that. They tried to emphasize that the point put forward by them was quite justified, and the Prime Minister did not pay attention to it. I do not want to go into depth of it because in politics a number of things can be said and are being said, but the only things just I want to submit that the chief ministers of opposition ruled states should understand a point as to how the congresses ruled states are after all functioning under the same financial framework fixed by the central government and the planning commission. Previously, the Congress chief ministers offered a suggestion to give states more percentage of share in the amount of small savings than what is being given to them at present. This was a concrete suggestion, but such solid suggestion was never given by the government of West Bengal or Karnataka. Next para. Mr. Deputy Chairman, Sir, it was a pleasure to listen to my friend, but I thought that he would launch his maiden speech as the leader of the opposition with a statement that the season for friendly opposition has started. But I am afraid he has a job requirement, and preciously for that reason, he has used a very critical line. He had said towards the end that he was impressed by the finance minister's speech, but he was disappointed after reading it. My submission is if he reflects deeply and dispassionately, he will again to back to his initial reaction. He will remain impressed, perhaps more impressed than what he thinks he should have been. I think it is unfair to say that the diagnosis is partisan and also unfair to say that remedy is going to be worse than the disease. Now I submit for the consideration of the honorable leader of the opposition that history always does not solve the problems of tomorrow or today. His basic thrust has been that there is a problem. The country is facing crisis, an economic crisis, fiscal crisis, the foreign exchange crisis. It is good to confess that we have a problem. Who contributed how much is a matter of detail, that is a matter of debate. But can you escape the responsibility that this is also contributed in a large measure and contributed in an irresponsible manner at a time when the economy was most vulnerable? They had political support from all walks of life in the sense both from the left and the extreme right. And their leader was the ex finance minister who had historically contributed in the earlier so called devaluation or whatever other kinds of reforms in the country. So, who is preaching the devil quoting scriptures, something which we are not used to? But the job requirements for my friend could be his constraints. He talked about black money and said that the government had compromised and had not taken deterrent accounts. Would the House like to hear from him what the Janata Dal government did? Did it do anything to recover even 1 rupee of black money? Question mark. So it does not lie in his face to say that enough is not being done or that the government is compromising with black money. The government is making all efforts to create job opportunities. Mr. Reddy, the basic point that you made is that your so called 8 plan was promising jobs and money to job seekers. Your government is on record. It took full stop.